I want to start with something important. If your blood pressure keeps creeping up despite medication, if your doctor keeps increasing doses but the numbers won't settle, if you feel like you're doing everything right and it still isn't working, there's a reason, and it's not what most people think. This video is not about obvious causes like salt shakers, junk food, or obesity. Those are easy targets. Most seniors already know about them. What I'm going to show you today are 5 ordinary daily habits, things millions of older adults do without a second thought, that quietly and consistently raise blood pressure through specific physiological mechanisms. These habits don't just raise your readings temporarily. They interfere with your medications, keep your nervous system activated, and slowly remodel your blood vessels so high pressure becomes your new normal. Most doctors never explain this, not because they're careless, but because modern appointments are short and focused on numbers, not mechanisms. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how each habit raises blood pressure, why medications often fail when these habits remain, what happens inside your body when you remove them, why blood pressure often drops within weeks, sometimes dramatically, without new pills. This is not lifestyle advice. This is cardiovascular physiology explained in plain language. Let's begin. Habit number 5, checking blood pressure. Too often this one surprises people the most, not because it sounds harmful, but because it sounds responsible. Many seniors check their blood pressure multiple times a day, morning, afternoon, evening, before bed, sometimes again if the number looks off. Let me tell you about Frank. Frank is 70 years old. He checked his blood pressure 6 to 8 times a day. He kept a notebook, every reading recorded. Over 4 years, his blood pressure climbed from 134/80 to 150/88 despite 3 medications. What he didn't realize was this: he wasn't measuring his blood pressure, he was creating it. Here's the mechanism. The moment you prepare to check your blood pressure, even subconsciously, your brain anticipates evaluation. This activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Corticotropin-releasing hormone is released. ACTH follows. Cortisol rises. At the same time, the sympathetic nervous system activates. Norepinephrine is released from the locus coeruleus. These chemicals have immediate cardiovascular effects. Blood vessels constrict, heart rate increases, cardiac output rises, vascular resistance increases, blood pressure rises within seconds. Studies show this anticipatory response can raise systolic pressure 8 to 15 points even before the cuff inflates. This is the same mechanism behind white coat hypertension. Now here's where it gets worse. When you check repeatedly, each reading reinforces anxiety. Each elevated number triggers another check. Each check compounds sympathetic activation. Over time, this isn't just temporary. Chronic sympathetic activation causes vascular smooth muscle thickening, increased baseline vascular tone, reduced arterial compliance. In other words, your blood vessels adapt to stay tighter. When Frank reduced checking to once daily, seated quietly for 5 minutes, same time each morning, his average pressure dropped 14 points in 2 weeks. Same medications, same diet. Just removed the trigger. The solution: check once daily under standardized conditions. No phone, no talking, 5 minutes seated rest. More data does not mean better control. It often means more anxiety and higher pressure. Habit number 4, drinking coffee. Too close to medications or measurements, caffeine is not harmless, especially in older adults. Let me introduce Helen, age 72. Helen drank 2 cups of coffee every morning. She took her blood pressure medication with coffee. Then she checked her pressure. Her readings were always high. Her doctor increased doses repeatedly. Here's what was actually happening. Caffeine blocks adenosine receptors, specifically A1 and A2A receptors. Adenosine normally causes blood vessels to relax. When caffeine blocks this signal, vessels remain constricted. Caffeine absorption peaks 30 to 60 minutes after ingestion. At peak levels, blood pressure rises 10 to 15 points. Heart rate increases, vascular tone increases. Now add medications. Many blood pressure drugs rely on vasodilation pathways. ACE inhibitors reduce angiotensin II. Calcium channel blockers reduce smooth muscle contraction. Caffeine actively opposes these mechanisms. Studies show that taking BP medication with coffee reduces its effectiveness by up to 50% during peak caffeine levels. Helen wasn't resistant to medication, she was neutralizing it. When she checked blood pressure before coffee, took medication with water. Waited 30 to 45 minutes before caffeine, her systolic pressure dropped 16 points. No new drugs, just proper timing. The solution: always measure blood pressure before caffeine. Take medications with water. Delay coffee by at least 30 minutes. Habit number 3, hidden sodium in healthy foods. Most seniors say, "I don't eat salty food." But sodium isn't coming from salt shakers. It's coming from bread, deli meats, cheese soups, condiments, restaurant meals. Let's talk about George, age 68. George avoided salty snacks, never added salt to meals, yet he consumed 3,200 milliliters of sodium daily. Here's why this matters. Sodium increases blood pressure through 2 mechanisms. First, volume expansion. Sodium pulls water into the bloodstream. More volume in the same vascular space increases pressure. Second, vascular sensitization. In older adults, the kidneys don't suppress the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system efficiently, so you get increased volume, continued vasoconstriction, endothelial dysfunction. Reduced nitric oxide availability. Each 1,000 milliliters of excess sodium raises systolic pressure 5 to 6 points. George reduced sodium to under 1,500 milliliters daily. His pressure dropped 12 points in 3 weeks. The solution? Read labels. Choose foods under 150 milliliters per serving. Prefer fresh over processed. Your kidneys normalize volume within 48 hours. Blood pressure responds quickly. Habit number 2, daily alcohol. Even just one. Alcohol has a deceptive effect. Initially, it relaxes blood vessels. Later, it does the opposite. Meet Susan, age 74. 1 glass of wine every evening. Religious about it. Her blood pressure stayed high despite medication. Here's the physiology. Alcohol causes biphasic blood pressure effects. Initial vasodilation, followed by rebound sympathetic activation. As alcohol levels fall, norepinephrine rises, cortisol increases, renin-angiotensin system activates, sodium retention increases. Daily drinking means you never escape the rebound phase. Morning blood pressure reflects peak sympathetic activation. Susan eliminated alcohol for 30 days. Her pressure dropped 10 points. Her doctor reduced medication. The solution? Eliminate alcohol for 4-8 weeks. Reassess blood pressure without this variable. Many people later tolerate occasional alcohol, but daily use maintains chronic elevation. Habit number 1, eating too fast without proper chewing. This is the most underestimated habit, and one of the most powerful. Eating is supposed to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. But fast eating does the opposite. Meet James, age 70. Meals lasted under 10 minutes. Minimal chewing. His pressure spiked after meals. Here's why. Chewing activates trigeminal nerve input, vagal nerve stimulation, parasympathetic dominance. This lowers heart rate, dilates vessels, and reduces pressure. Fast eating prevents vagal activation, causes gastric distension, triggers sympathetic reflexes. Blood pressure rises instead of falling. Studies show slow eaters have 11-point lower systolic pressure on average. James slowed meals to 20 minutes, chewed 25 times per bite. His pressure dropped 8 points in 2 weeks. The solution? Eat slowly. No distractions. Minimum 20 minutes per meal. The combined effect. When these habits stack, so do their effects. Each activates a different pathway: sympathetic nervous system cortisol, volume expansion, vascular resistance, endothelial dysfunction. Remove them together, and blood pressure often drops 25-40 points. Medications finally work. Doctors reduce doses. This is why so many seniors feel medication resistant. They're not resistant. Their habits are overpowering the drugs. What to do next? 3 steps. Identify how many habits apply to you. Eliminate 1 per week. Monitor blood pressure properly, once daily. This is not theory. This is documented physiology. Start today. And in the next video, I'll explain the common blood pressure medication that actually causes rebound hypertension, and why dose increases sometimes make things worse. You don't want to miss that.